I'm a pharmaceutical rep based out of Charlotte. This happened 3 months ago, driving back from a conference in Asheville. It was around 11 at night, that dead hour when the highway feels like you the last person alive. My gas light had been on for 20 miles. When I saw a rundown station near the Pisgah Forest exit, I pulled in. The place looked like it hadn't been updated since the 90s. Overhead lights flickered. 2 pumps. A small store with bars on the windows. I was the only car. I got out and started filling my tank. About halfway through, I felt this crawling sensation on the back of my neck, like someone was watching me. I looked up. A man stood on the other side of the pumps, staring at me with a smile that turned my stomach. I tried to ignore him, focused on the numbers climbing on the pump. Every second stretched into an hour. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. "What's your problem?" I snapped. "Why are you staring at me?" He tilted his head. His smile widened. "You look just like my wife." His voice had this dreamy quality. The hair, the eyes, even the way you stand. He took a step closer. "It's uncanny." My hand tightened on the pump handle. "I'm not your wife." "No," he agreed, still smiling. "But you could be. You have the same energy." The way he said energy made my skin crawl. I wanted to get in my car and leave, but my tank was only half full, and I still had 2 hours of dark highway ahead. I forced myself to finish pumping, screwed the cap on, and got back in the car. My hands shook so badly, I could barely get the key in the ignition. The sign on the pump said cash only. I had to go inside to pay. I sat there a full minute, trying to convince myself to just drive off. But I couldn't steal gas over some weirdo's smile. I scanned the lot. I couldn't see him anymore. Maybe he'd left. Maybe I'd overreacted. I walked to the store, checking over my shoulder every few steps. The bell dinged when I entered. A cashier, an older guy with tired eyes, looked up from his magazine. "Pump 2, I said, keeping my voice steady. "And a bag of Doritos and a Coke." While he rang me up, I kept glancing out the window. No sign of the man. Maybe he was just passing through. Maybe he really had thought I looked like someone he knew. People say weird things sometimes. I paid, grabbed my stuff, and walked back to my car. The parking lot was empty now, except for my Honda. Relief flooded through me. I was 3 steps from my driver's door when I heard his voice behind me. "I killed my wife." I froze. Every muscle locked down. She was cheating on me. His voice was conversational, like he was telling me about the weather. "Found her with him in our bed." I turned slowly. He stood maybe 10 feet away, hands at his sides. Even in the dim light, I could see dark stains covering them. "I put her body in the woods." He lifted his hands to show me. "Right back there, not even a mile in. She's all wrapped up in plastic." The smile was gone. His face was completely empty. I screamed and ran for the store. Footsteps pounded behind me, but instead of following, he veered toward the tree line and disappeared into the darkness. The forest swallowed him whole. The bell dinged as I burst through the door. The cashier looked up, startled. "What's wrong?" I was gasping, pointing at the woods. The man, he said he killed his wife. He said her body is in the woods. His hands were covered in blood. "Slow down." "What man?" "The one who was out there." He was staring at me. He said he killed his wife and showed me his hands. They were covered in. The cashier's face went pale. He pulled out his phone and called 911. The police arrived in maybe 10 minutes, but it felt like hours. I sat in the back of the cashier's office, shaking, trying to explain what happened. 2 officers went into the woods with flashlights, while another stayed with me, asking questions I could barely understand. It took them 40 minutes to find him. He was sitting under a tree, sobbing. His hands covered his face, still stained with blood. Next to him was a freshly dug pit not even properly covered yet. Inside was a shape wrapped in black plastic. They pulled the plastic back enough to see a woman in her mid-30s, multiple stab wounds to the chest. She'd been dead for maybe 3 hours. The detective told me later that the man's name was Marcus Boone. His wife, Emma, had filed for divorce 2 weeks earlier. Friends confirmed she'd been having an affair. He'd killed her in their home that night, wrapped her up, driven her out to the woods, and buried her in the dark. But instead of fleeing, he stayed there until he saw me. I asked the detective why he thought Boone had approached me. "I don't know," he said. I asked if he thought Boone would have hurt me if I hadn't screamed and run. Nobody seemed to have answers. The therapist I've been seeing says I may never know, and that's something I have to accept. I don't drive that highway anymore. I don't stop at gas stations alone after dark. And whenever someone stares at me too long, I hear his voice in my head saying I look just like his wife.